Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel today. Now, big news today on the gaming scene and the console scene. Valve is going to release the Steam Machine. I have a feeling this is going to be a direct competitor to the Microsoft Xbox that's coming out in the next few years. I don't know if it's going to be a huge direct competitor to the PS5, but we're going to go over all the news and we're going to talk about it. Stick around.
Oh, this is the new Steam Machine. Steam Machine is a powerful gaming PC in a small but mighty package, designed for your games on the big screen. It's quiet too, which is crazy since it's 6 times more powerful than a Steam Deck, powered by a discrete, semi-custom AMD GPU, enabling 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with FSR. Steam Machine runs SteamOS made for a bigger screen, built for gaming in your living room, your office, or wherever you play, with the rest of your PC accessories. Steam Machine borrows some great features from Steam Deck, like lightning-fast sleep and wake, an SD card slot to easily expand your storage, and brings some new tricks of its own, like a customizable LED strip, which can show different system functionalities, or your own light show. Steam Machine is a PC, so run whatever software you want, and it works with all your favorite desktop and gaming accessories. Steam Machine is designed to work hand in hand with the Steam controller, with the low latency, wireless connectivity of the Steam controller puck built right in. And it's great for streaming your games to your phone, tablet, laptop, Steam Deck, or Steam Frame.
Now, the Steam Machine will coincide with the Steam Deck and the Steam Frame and all those sort of peripherals. The machine looks pretty slick in my opinion. Could this be the end of Xbox? Because as you know, Xbox is going to release a console and it is going to be a PC console hybrid, much like this Steam Machine is. So let's talk about the hardware here, guys. Obviously, this will not have an optical drive. It's no big surprise. All these game companies are going towards that way. And, you know, Steam sells digital games, so they're not going to put an optical drive in there. It's not going to help them in any way. But let's have a look at the specs on this. I'm just going to pop this up on the screen. Now, again, I'm not an aficionado on hardware specs for PCs. It's been quite a while since I've built one. As for the RAM, we'll go through here. It looks like it has a decent amount of RAM and maybe a little bit more than the PS5 and Xbox here. It's got 16 gigabytes plus 8 gigabytes, so 24 total versus 16 each on the other two. Again, the GPU max here, 2.45 gigahertz, and then 2.23 for the PS5 and 1.825 for the Xbox. Now, the GPU architecture, it looks a little bit lower here. It's only at 28, as where the PS5 has 36 and 52 for the Xbox. CPU max here is 4.8, which is not bad. 3.5 and 3.8 respectively for the other two. And then they both have AMD Zens for CPUs here. The Steam Machine does have the Zen 4. PS5 has Zen 2 as well as the Xbox. So it's hard to say whether this is going to outshine these consoles. The general impression I've got from people is that the PS5 has probably got a little bit more grunt than this machine. So it's starting off a little bit lower than it probably should be. However, if Valve wants to keep the price point low and compete with certain segments of the market, this is what they're going to have to do, guys. They can't go crazy and put like $3,000 worth of hardware in a PC like this. However, as long as this machine is optimized well, I believe it will run most of these AAA games just fine. Now, they won't be running anything on max settings or ultra or anything like that. But I'm sure Valve has done a lot of testing with this to make sure their platform can run pretty much every game that comes out on Steam and run it fairly well. So I wouldn't be too worried about games not running properly on this. I believe it'll work just fine. Given that it is a little bit lackluster compared to the PS5, the next generation of consoles will definitely dwarf this in comparison with their power. Will that translate into more sales? I really don't know. PS5 is probably going to keep selling really well. Xbox, this is where this is going to come into play, and I believe this will take a big chunk of that audience. And there's a bunch of reasons why. Now, there was a bit of a concern when this came out. It was running on the Steam OS, and it will come factory with the Steam OS on it. So what does that mean? Your online multiplayers like COD, Battlefield, GTA, you can't run those on the Steam OS because of the anti-cheats. So what you can do is install Windows on this. It will accept it. Basically, you have to remember this is a PC, guys. You can install your own apps, your own operating system and such. I would assume most people will probably put Windows on this and use it as a gaming PC, because really it would be kind of dumb to have a PC and you want it for gaming and stuff, but you can't play online games with it. It'd be pretty dumb. So I think Valve did the right thing here. They kind of left it up to the end consumer. If you just want this for single player games and no multiplayer, you don't have to touch a thing. You can boot it up and just run the Steam OS and run the games and play them that way. Me personally, if I was going to go this route, I would want it to run everything, so I would probably just pop Windows on it. Now, I know some people might say it's going to slow it down if you put Windows on it or something, but again, you have to be practical here, guys. Most people are going to want to play a little bit of multiplayer and online elements when they are playing these games. Now, another little issue here is no optical drive, but again, the console makers, they're trying to get away from optical drives anyways, guys, so this is not a big surprise that Valve did this. To me, I would just get a standalone drive for it, and if I wanted to use PC games on it, I would do that. Again, you don't really buy that many PC games on physical disc anymore anyways. It's really gone the way of the dodo, so most people aren't going to give a shit like that. And when you are playing Steam games, you want those deals when they're like a couple bucks or something. It's usually way cheaper than buying a physical copy anyways, so it is what it is. Now, this is supposed to ship Q1 in 2026. That remains to be seen if that will happen. It was kind of a surprise announcement to me, and I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat. So hopefully they can keep to that time frame and see what it's like when it comes out. Me personally, I don't think it's something that I'm going to purchase. I don't really need it at this point. My Xbox Series X works good. I don't game too much on my PC. It's not meant for that. And in general, I'm not a huge PC gamer at the moment, guys. I don't like constant updates and fiddling with stuff, optimizing drives and stuff. I usually just use my computer for doing videos like this and work and stuff like that. So I like the ease of the console. Again, I'm sure this machine will probably act somewhat like a console in the fact that you're probably not going to have to do a million updates and fiddle with stuff. I'm sure Valve has this figured out where they will just push an update out and it will go like that, and it'll probably work just fine. That would be my hope anyways in a situation like this. Again, sometimes when these companies mention PC console hybrid stuff, I do get a little nervous that it's probably going to be more PC-like, and if someone goes into this buying it on the assumption it's like a console where you really don't have to maintain it yourself other than the automatic updates, then it might turn off some people if they buy this, and it's not the case. So we'll have a quick peek at this article and how this came to be, and it does say, built by Valve, powered by SteamOS, the new Steam machine is a compact gaming PC, one trying to make good on a promise Valve made a long time ago. With prototype Steam machines heading out to reviewers back in 2013, US included, the company had grand plans of reinventing what constitutes a gaming PC around its new creation. Years on, and following a few failed partner launches that you can read all about in our retrospect of the demise, the project was more or less doomed. By 2018, Valve pulled the plug. Or did it? Valve never stopped working on SteamOS, plugging away until it landed on the successful formula launched inside the Steam Deck in 2022. Following this success, Valve feels ready to take a second punt at a system with more firepower. We finally have all the software and hardware bits to make the original vision a reality. Yazan Al-Halyat, a Valve engineer working on a Steam machine, says during my visit to Valve HQ. They mention it's the right time because users are already making Steam machines happen, putting a recovery image of the SteamOS onto a range of devices or using their Steam Deck while docked. Our customers kind of beat us to it. Now, as for the pricing, no one really knows what this is going to come in at, guys. I would say it's going to be between that $500 to $650, $700 range. Really hard to say. Computer stuff is getting a little wild in the pricing. If this comes in way, way lower than the next-gen Xbox and PS5, I think they'll have a winner on their hands here. Now, this is not going to sell crazy, because they're trying to appeal to two markets, and the two markets that they're trying to appeal to are kind of ingrained in what they're doing. You have the casual console base. I would say I'm kind of in that. and we're probably not going to deviate into something like this right away. And then you have the PC gamer that likes putting their machine together and likes high-end graphics, and this is definitely not going to be a powerhouse of a machine by any stretch. So I'm not too sure who this is really going to fully appeal to, but again, it's like anything, this stuff will sell, people will buy it, and it could take quite a few years for it to get a foothold on the market, but I believe it probably will. Now, as you guys know, I am an Xbox fan. I do follow a lot of Xbox news. If you do want to see more Xbox-centered news on the channel, Bethesda or anything like that, you can let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to cover whatever you'd like to hear. That being said, I'll read you this tweet from Phil Spencer, and it does say, "Gaming moves forward when players and developers have more ways to play and create, especially across open platforms. Expanding access across PC, console, and handheld devices reflects a future built on choice, core values that have guided Xbox's vision from the start. As one of the largest publishers on Steam, we welcome new options for players to access games anywhere. Congrats on today's announcement." So if I'm Phil Spencer here, guys, I'm getting a little concerned because, you know, this was Xbox vision going forward to have a machine that probably is going to look like this. It'll probably have a bit better guts in it. It's supposed to be more high-end, but it's going to be inherently more expensive than this. I can pretty much guarantee you that. And if there ever was a direct competitor to the Xbox console other than Sony, it's going to be this machine, because they're basically building two identical machines. You're going to have a high-end one and you're going to have a mid-range one. So I don't know how this is going to play out. And honestly, I don't know if Xbox fans are going to really buy into the PC Xbox console hybrid type thing. I really don't. So to me, the thing is here, guys, as for the gaming console wars that's going to be coming up here, I think Xbox is going to take a shit kick in here. You have to understand that when people buy consoles, a lot of these consoles are still purchased for family and children. They're purchased by people that don't want to mess with PC stuff, and that's just the way it is. That's always been how the console market is. So when you're someone like Xbox and you're trying to basically create a whole new audience for your platform, I don't think it's going to go over well, because really, at the end of the day, you know, the Steam machine here and the new Xbox, I don't think it really has that mass appeal, guys. I don't think they'll sell like crazy or anything like that. I think what they are doing is opening the door for Sony to basically squash any consoles by these two makers. That's what I think is going to happen here. Now, to me, the mass appeal for something like this or the new Xbox that's going to be a hybrid, I don't think it's quite there yet. They don't really serve a single purpose. They're trying to do too many things. And this is what got Xbox in trouble with the Xbox One. It tried to be a hub for everything, a master of none. Did not work. People did not accept that. And I think the Steam machine is probably going to suffer the same fate here. I think there's going to be some sales for it. But again, like I pointed out, true PC gamers, this is not going to be something they want. And a console player, again, do you really want this? Not really, because what's the point? Companies have this much money. They can just kind of spitball things and throw it at the wall and see if it sticks or not. We'll see how this plays out, guys. It's a really neat concept, and I'm not against it. I think having more choice is good, but I don't think in the long run this is going to be a huge hit for Steam or gamers in general. If you are going to buy the Steam machine, you can let me know in the comments below what you think about it, if you think it's worth it. If you don't think it's worth it, it's a piece of crap, you can let me know too, and we'll have a chat about it. As always, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. If you have anything to add, you can let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.